Seriously, fix your brakes. Alrighty, buddy, how we doing? What's up, Buck? I'm Doug with D&E in the Garage. Today, I'm going to be talking about the benefits of changing your own brakes, and I'm going to try to convince you to stop taking her down to the corner store, buy a couple tools, and do the work yourself. Now, the long and the short of it is, come here. Give me that. If you can afford to have somebody else change your brakes, and you don't like getting your hands dirty, now this video isn't for you. But I suspect some of you are like me. Father, husband, just trying to make it in this world on a budget, looking for ways to save a few dollars. Alrighty, friends, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this thing real quick. Point blank, in most situations, if you go out and change your own brakes, you're going to be able to do a better job than the high school dropout who's doing your brakes at the local shop. No offense if you work at the local shop down corner. I just know it's the new guy in the shop that usually gets the brake jobs, am I right? The other guys are busy doing heavy diag. So, reason number one to do your own brakes is, well, if you do it yourself, you know it's done right. Or at least there's a chance it's done right. Reason number two, friends, is that you will save an absolute gang of money. All right, I'm not kidding that the local shop usually charges, what is it, about $200-300 per corner, right? So you need all your brakes done. By the way, the brakes on this car were real bad. Please don't judge me on the pads that come out. Anyway, point being, it's not unusual for a brake job to cost $1,000. There was a time when anybody could diagnose, haha, smoking gun. Oh, buddy. But wait, there's more. I'll tell you what, friends, that wasn't even the best part. Had I taken this car to a shop, it would have been about $2 grand to get this crap fixed. All right, here's our slides. Crunchy, but serviceable, I suppose. A little dry, a little rusty in there. Did have some anti-seize or brake lube. But this guy tells the whole story. That's where our problem was. This guy's seized. So the excessive brake dust buildup on the clip was actually probably secondary. This slide seized, which precluded the caliper from releasing. And then the excessive brake buildup is just the pad getting sanded into oblivion. So let me get this stuff pulled apart. We'll find out if we can save this bracket, run out to the store, grab a new slide, get this thing put back together. All right, we're not going to go too crazy on this one because I looked it up and I can get a whole new caliper and bracket for relatively inexpensively. But where is this video going? Let's finish our conversation. Alrighty, friends. Now I wanted to see if I could break this thing loose, if maybe it was just lightly seized in there, but that is not the case. This thing is very seized. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace the whole caliper and bracket. That's the right thing to do. But it does not change the message of this video, because the boys down at the corner shop, they got to keep the shop profitable. So on a job like this, where they were into it for a brake job, now they're replacing the caliper, bleeding the brakes, maybe some other stuff, maybe we're going to try to throw brake lines at you or something. I'll let you know something. In my 9 to 5, I'm a service manager. So I completely understand. You got to charge for the work you do. You got to keep your shop profitable. I get that. What I'm telling you, skip it altogether. Don't even show up at the shop, because a job like this went from $200 a corner, I don't know, we're probably gonna hit you $500. The other side's not gonna look much better. Since I'm going out to the store, I wanna make sure that this side is not seized up as well. If I gotta buy one, might as well buy, or if I gotta buy two, I'd rather get them both today. Recently had a jack stand fail on me. I guess I kept it outside one too many times. She got rusty. So now we're gonna be using dogwood logs. Aged to perfection. Well, if the car was high enough. Well, there you have it, friends. 4 slides, almost no movement. This one off the passenger side was even worse than the driver's side. Alrighty, friends, it's the next day. We had some drawbacks, some setbacks, and some opportunities to rethink our course of action. I went and picked up those brackets, brought them home, realized they were not loaded. They didn't have pins in them. Life is hard, and harder if you're stupid. So I ordered calipers instead. Probably what I should have done in the first place. We are still way ahead of the game. These were $77 calipers, $55 core. They are obviously include the bracket and slides and everything, with the exception of the pads, but I already had the pads. We are going to paint these as well, because why not? Alrighty, so the first thing we're going to do here is crack these bad boys open, load them up with some brake pads, and grease them up, get them all ready to go into the car. This is another part of the process, and it's something that takes more time. And I mean, honestly, yeah, you know, at the beginning of this, I was advocating everybody run out and change their own brakes, but we're going on day 2. Thankfully, I have way more vehicles than any one family needs, so I was able to still get around. But if your vehicle is the one and only, it gets a little harder to have it off the road for a day or 2, right? So, for those that don't know, your slides are supposed to slide. We're going to see, are these pre-greased? Just barely, right? So, I got some white brake grease over here. Just a little extra something, a little extra. Keep them from rusting and sticking, and then just like at least a little film up top, because that's where the real gross stuff gets in. The road salt, the grit, and that's what sends them out real quick. And you just... go. Oh, you got to be careful with these because that little rubber bit there. If you get extra grease under there, it gets very difficult to put them back into the caliper. So we'll just put some up here. Call that a D. What'd you find?
I found a worm.
Pet worm?
Uh-huh.
What are you going to name him?
Gerald.
Gerald?
Yeah.
Gerald the worm. Why don't you go put Gerald the worm back in the ground so that he can have a nice, happy, long life? What do you say?
Yeah.
Good duck.
Come
good call.
on, Gerald.
All right, bye, Gerald.
Bye.
So the power stop came with new clips. The calipers came with new clips. Then I have the original clips from my original calipers. What you're going to want to do is line all these up, line up all your options, and see which ones fit best, which ones work with your pads best. Usually the OEM ones work the best. These power stop ones feel super cheap and chintzy. But point is, these clips, they keep them from rattling, but they also help the longevity of your pad if they fit right. So make sure you get that right. Figure out which ones in the collection are probably going to work for you. I'm probably going to end up using these ones that came with the CarQuest because they look pretty decent. Another thing you can do, especially if you plan on keeping these brakes, is you grease very, very lightly. So I got a ton on there. We're going to spread that out over all 4 sides under the clips, and it keeps rust jacking from happening, which will essentially, when iron rusts, it expands. So it's, you know, expands this way. It rust jacks this clip into the pad, and that locks the pad in place. You go from having a real good time to having a significantly less good time. Basically, we're just doing a very light coating of grease on this to help prevent rust. Makes sense, right? Here's our brand new caliper. If you don't know, these bad boys have a left and a right. If your bleed screw is not on the top, you don't have a bleed screw. You have a well, spill screw, I guess. Sneak this guy on. I mean, there's also another benefit to going new here. So the brackets I was going to get were 38 bucks. The new calipers were $77, not even $40 more. And I mean, I'm not worrying about compressing these things. I'm not picking rust and dust out of the piston cups. If you have the means and your car's got, this car's got about 150,000 miles on it. It's gonna have at least another 150 before I'm done with it. At least, probably quite a bit more. Boy, am I having problems starting my threads today, I tell you. Anyone's wondering, this is the same Milwaukee I fixed about 3 years ago. I'll leave the link up there, but I mean, she skips a beat every now and again. You'll see the socket stop moving, but other than that, this has been an absolute win. This is your signal to go buy used broken tools on eBay and fix them on the cheap. Here's another hint. If you have one of these 3/8 Milwaukees, do yourself a favor and buy a 3/8 breaker bar. Break with this and do your final tightening with this and do the other 85% of the turning with this. You will save this thing and you'll get a better feel for you know, how tight your stuff is. I see guys all the time, you know, who does this and it drives me nuts. I love this guy, no nonsense, know-how, Chris, but I mean, he'll break a 19 mil bolt with one. I mean, but I guess if it doesn't break the tool, screw it, right? So what we're gonna do, on the back of this caliper there, we're gonna pop out this PVC plug real quick. These are actually pre-filled. We're going to pop out this banjo bolt here. We're going to swap this new hardware onto that banjo. Where is it? In my pocket. New hardware with 2 new copper washers there. One for the top, one for the bottom. Where's the other one? It's in my pocket somewhere. Did I lose it? I already lost it. Come on, man. It's not good. Oh, maybe we're going to reuse one of the copper washers. I'm sure that's fine. No, just kidding. Here it is. And the point here is you want to lose the least amount of brake fluid that you can. If you can. When you can. Friends, Opie was. And then we're going to paint these things. And then later on I'll bleed them. And I guess I'll put the tires on at some point. I was wrong. These were not pre-filled. So bleeding them is going to take a year because I didn't pre-fill them. You should do that. Pre-filling your calipers will save you a lot of pain later. Oh, we're losing it. I'm losing it. And my phone's ringing. It's all happening all at once. Hold on. It's my day off. Leave me alone. Alright, let me see. I don't know why that's frozen in there. There we go. Pull that guy out. Yeah, Subaru kind of wedges them in there. Now, I'm not super worried about losing some brake fluid because it's not going to be the end of the world to swap out some of this. Brake fluid has been in there since 2009. Let's figure out which way's up. It's going to have to come down like that. Okay, so copper into the banjo. I don't know if y'all can see copper. All right, now I've set it up so that you people can see and I cannot. So Don't judge me on how long this takes me to get lined up. Oh, that actually feels like that should about do her. Pert near. Gave y'all an excellent view of my hand there for a little bit. And here we go. We want to give it a little bit of the business to crush those coppers, but not too much farther. Like they do in German. Get her guten tight and then stop. What are you doing?
Making porridge. Mud porridge.
You sure are, kid.
Stir, stir. Now I'm stirring it for mermaid.
That's at least one kid that ain't inside on a sunny day playing video games. Anyway, proud poppy, you know what I'm saying? Brakes are on. We even bled them up. Got the fluid topped off. Job's basically done. Let's discuss, or finish discussing, why I started this video in the first place. Times are tough. Inflation's up. Everything costs more, and if it doesn't cost more, you're just going to get less of it. Everybody, it seems, has some way in which their life is, their day-to-day life is maybe a little trickier than it was last year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't know, man. Time to start thinking outside the box. We can all just get on Instagram and complain about it all day, or you can go change your own brakes. Do a little maintenance on your own car. Do a little maintenance on your own house. I don't know. Start thinking outside the box. When times got tough, at the end of the 1920s, what did our great-great-grandfathers do? Oh, they put their money where their mouth was, and they figured it out. And that's what I'm suggesting you all do. The American dream may be tarnished, but the American spirit is alive and well. So if you are complaining that there's not as many spare dollarinos in your old checking account, but you're going to run out and pay someone $1,200 to do brakes on your 09 Subaru, I don't know, bud. I have $176 into this. That's kind of the calipers and the pads. Now, I started out, I was just going to throw pads in for 20 bucks. This video actually makes even more sense now, because if I'd taken this car with the unknown caliper, or what was seized up? The pins were seized up. The undiagnosed issue, they would have diagnosed it, and they would have added a bunch of extra cost to the project. It would have been 1,200 bucks, at least 1,200 bucks. So anyway, one last thing I'm going to do, and it's not just for go fast. I am going to paint these calipers, and I'll tell you why. These things, according to the box, are coated, but I mean, they'll be rusty, dusty, and crusty within a week, 2 tops. So what we're going to do here, everything's bled out. I'm going to take a few minutes to protectorize and show you how you can real quickly, real simply, real inexpensively paint up your calipers. We're going to go with flat black. That's only 6 horsepower, but they do have red and yellow out there if you want the full 20 horsepower per caliper. Alrighty, friends, we gave her the day to dry up a bit. She's dry to the touch, probably not cured yet. And the long and the short of it is 10 out of 10, bud, right? We've accomplished a nice protective coating on these new calipers, and they might even look a little better than they would have with that silver in there, which again, it was coated, and it, you know, would have lasted for a couple months, and then we started getting real crusty. So I'd like to just point out that that was about the easiest, quickest, dirtiest way you could possibly paint a caliper. And look, I mean, we're fine. we're fine. No paint on the rotor, no paint off in the background, a little paint on the hose, that's okay. Freshened it up, little paint on his rubber boot, I wouldn't worry about it. It's still plenty pliable. That paint will probably chip right off because honestly it had grease on it. So that's another thing you can do. Anywhere where you don't want the paint to stay, put a coat of grease on it. You don't want it on your boots, put a coat of grease over it. You see we have our bleed screw there, still nice and protected. So all in all, I think this is a 10 out of 10 job. And we absolutely accomplished what we set out to accomplish. We wanted to get some really good work done on our daily. I can't afford to pay somebody $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 to do this. New calipers in the front. I will do the backs, you know, next month or two. Probably just swap out the calipers too. Why not? New calipers all the way around. What did I say? 176 bucks. That's counting the paint. Yeah, that's counting the paint all in. Pads, calipers, paint. That's not bad, but that's not bad. In a world where YouTube exists, right? And there's a how-to video in every style imaginable, on every topic imaginable, more and more people seem to be opting out of doing things themselves, which is confusing to me. We live more and more in a world where we are presented with items that are not lifetime items. Our air fryer, we've had it for about probably 6 years. Use it all the time, especially once we had the kid. Hey, if you're about to have a kid, buy yourself an air fryer, because if you're waiting for chicken nuggets in the oven, it's too long. You want that air fryer. Anyway, point is, I gave up the ghost the other day. I was about to into the bucket, and I said, let me just real quick open her up, Google it. 2 minutes, she was fixed, working fine. Sensor had to be cleaned, and there was a clip that was not putting the proper amount of tension on something to tell it that the thing was closed. Point is, bud, if you are simultaneously finding yourself unable to fix stuff, or throwing a lot of stuff out, or cashing a lot of stuff in, or taking your car out to the dealer all the time, or the shop, and you find yourself a little bit financially under the water, whereas you weren't a couple years ago, well, maybe there's something there. Maybe there's a route for you to fix both of those problems, man. Start Googling stuff. Your vacuum stopped working, Google how to fix the vacuum, bud. Yeah, don't just throw out the vacuum. We're not there. We're not there. We're not living the roaring 20s. We are post 1929 right now. We'll be out of it someday. We'll be out of it, probably sooner rather than later. But for right now, we're gonna have to do stuff like I just built a gate for our dog gate. Keeps the dogs on the gate on the deck. Broke. Had some wood that I recycled from a bed. Built a gate out of the recycled bed. Are there drill holes in it? Yes. Is it obvious the wood was used for something else first? Yes. But I made it as nice as I could. And the alternative was no gate, right? So by all means, I'd love to hear a comment down there in the squawk boxes. Are you still changing your own oil, or have you found some way to justify it? Just don't have the time, it's worth it to me, and you'd rather let some high school kid empty the lifeblood out of your engine and hopefully fill it? Who knows? How about your brakes? You still doing the brakes? You know, they're one of the most important systems on the car. Personally, I like to know they're done right by me, but whatever, that's on you. I'd love to know, what are you still doing on your car? What are you paying to have someone else do? And what maybe were you paying to have somebody do? And it's not in the cards right now. Gonna have to go out and figure it out for ourselves. Leave me that comment down in the squawk boxes. I'd love to hear what you think. Additionally, I'd like to mention real quick, I know we haven't been super present on this channel. Thank you to everybody who has reached out in Instagram and in emails and comments and stuff. I'm sorry that I'm not better at getting back to y'all. I miss y'all. I love y'all. I love the channel. I love doing this. But my first and foremost job is as a wife, father, and provider. Wife, father, and provider. Husband, father, and provider. Christ on it. Life is just hard and harder if you're stupid. The point is, the channel only gets attention once the others are 10 out of 10. So we are trying to get more videos out. We absolutely, you know, don't get me wrong here. We haven't stopped doing work. We've stopped recording it because it's difficult, man. Recording is a barrel of monkeys. So plenty of projects. I will tell you, there's still a Dodge on the driveway, but the decoder, she gone, bud. I had to make an adult decision. I don't really want to talk about it. That's the bad news. The good news, we still have projects for days everywhere. I don't want to get into it too much, but Project Dan and I are going to be doing a video somewhat soon. He has some things that I need, and he's going to be wonderful enough to help me achieve them, so I think I'll be rolling out his way. Additionally, the Subaru needs a ton of work. I still want to do some custom work on the wife's Durango, so don't worry, DNA ain't going nowhere. Let me catch my breath. Still getting my feet under me at the new gig, year in, right? Anyway, as always, this has been Doug with Deanie in the Garage, here to motivate you to stop throwing stuff out, save something rusty, do that job yourself, and invest in yourself and your ability to do work. That is, I think, one of the most important things we can do in this modern world. Invest in ourselves, invest in our ability to work, continue education. There you go, bud. And paint your calipers because they look better, right? So, as always, thanks for watching.